I'm Mia Hackney, chef assistant at Vitamix, and here with me today is my mother, Khana.
Hello.
And we're gonna make her famous bulgogi recipe. So today we're actually making the mushroom bulgogi. I grew up on a beef bulgogi recipe, so it's a marinated, thinly cut sirloin, usually beef. But we adapted it to become a vegetarian recipe, especially because my mom is mostly vegetarian and prefers that mushroom version over the beef version, even though she cooks the beef version for the rest of us as a family. Today we're gonna make the marinade in the Vitamix Propel 510 blender and also cut up the ingredients to be marinated and then show you that finished product at the end. But if we're ready, we can get right into it. I'm gonna have you julienne cut our yellow onion and then cut our green onion into about 2-inch pieces or so. We want these pieces to be kind of a substantial cut size, have some texture in our marinated blend. So just to clarify, these mushrooms were dried shiitakes. So we can use fresh mushrooms, but it'll just get a different texture, different resulting texture, a little bit meatier, and this will be a little bit more chewy, have a bit more bite to it, kind of similar to that beef bulgogi. But we're gonna cut up our onion and our green onion and mix it in with our dried shiitakes and then pour the marinade over. And I do wanna clarify too that these dried shiitakes were rehydrated, and then they're a nice, tender but firm texture.
Yeah, I love shiitake mushrooms, but I prefer portobello fresh mushrooms. It has meaty and better texture when you chew it and softer. Like you said, rehydrated shiitake mushrooms are good, but kind of chewy if you don't rehydrate well. So I love portobello mushrooms. So if you want to try fresh mushroom, I think that's the way to go.
And when I was testing this recipe to adapt it to mushrooms from beef, I tested fresh portobellos as well. They were really good and I did like them, but I think from my polling of all of the chefs in our testing, everyone kind of agreed that this was closer to the meat texture. But
all right, so I'm gonna cut this in, lengthwise. It's too thick. And if you cut this way, it'll absorb the marinade better. So I always do this. Cut lengthwise first.
And she's kind of just cutting the thicker, whiter parts of that green onion and like the light green parts too. Those thinner, darker green and softer parts of the green onion we can leave whole. We're kind of into about that 2-inch piece or so, just so that it doesn't get lost in our marinade and once we cook it off. So
yeah, so when you cook it, it'll reduce down to maybe half, but it still has that texture. So I love it. I love green onion in general and onions. So I put a lot of these and I cut this size.
And then if you're ready, we can just go ahead and add that straight to our bowl of dehydrated shiitakes and then get started on our marinade. And beautiful.
All right.
So for our marinade, we're gonna just very simply add everything to our blender and blend it smooth. So for this, we've got a couple tablespoons of soy sauce. We use low sodium soy sauce, whatever your preference might be. And then we've got some honey as well. I think you originally or normally will use white sugar.
Yeah.
Right? Granulated sugar. But for our Vitamix version, we are limiting our refined sugars and adding honey instead. But you can totally use white sugar if that's what you prefer. Here at Vitamix, we like honey.
And some people use syrup, corn syrup, but that's not that good, so I don't use it anymore.
And then we've got a little sesame oil as well, about a tablespoon of sesame oil. And I do like to seek out Korean sesame oil because you taught me to do that. It's just more aromatic and tastier.
Yeah, the smells heavenly. So yeah, really when you open that cap, you can smell it and the whole house smells like sesame oil.
I'm just like you. We've got about half a teaspoon or so of ground black pepper as well. Get a little bit of smokiness in there. And then I'm actually gonna have you cut one more thing, if you will. We've got half of an Asian pear. So if you can, go ahead and de-seed that for us. And we're leaving the skin on, just to emphasize we can add whole foods into this marinade, and really blending down those whole ingredients in our Vitamix is a good way of showcasing its power. But yeah, we got an Asian pear here. This is a bit of a small Asian pear. They're usually bigger, juicier. They're just not in season right now. But if you can't get an Asian pear, you can totally use an apple. You just want that natural sweetness. And I've also got another half of a yellow onion. And I just went ahead and halved that, and I'm just gonna add that in big pieces there. And then you can go ahead and add that to the blender as well, our Asian pear. Thank you. And then we've got some garlic. We usually use a lot of garlic in our recipes.
Oh, that's not enough. I put a lot more.
At least double this. Yeah. I didn't want to get too crazy with the Vitamix recipe, but we've got 5 cloves, whole cloves of garlic here. But at home, yeah, we would probably use a lot more, but that's just us. We've also got a little bit of fresh ginger. About an inch and a half knob of fresh ginger. I didn't peel this either, so I left that skin on, but I just cleaned it really, really well. And we're just gonna blend this up until it's nice and smooth. So you'll notice that we started with the liquid ingredients. We added our soy and our honey and our sesame oil on the bottom, and then our solid ingredients on top. And that's just to allow the weight of those ingredients and the liquid on the bottom to be able to suck those ingredients down to the blades and really blend as efficiently as it possibly can. All right, and it looks smooth. Take that lid off. Smell that. Do you want to pour?
Okay.
Sure. Beautiful. And I usually like to take a gloved hand and get in there and make sure that it is really well coated. Really soak in the surface area of everything you're trying to marinate. And then we will marinate this. I like to marinate overnight. You do too, right? Especially if it's you're using beef and you really want to get that marinade to tenderize that beef. With these mushrooms, I would say like a minimum of half an hour marinade, an hour marinade, but up to overnight.
So everything is just going in there.
Yeah, really, really get those flavors into the mushrooms, into the beef and the
when
onions.
you make it with beef, I would recommend at least marinate at least 3 hours, and overnight is preferred.
Yeah, I always try overnight, at least, yeah. With this, I would just cover this, keep it in the bowl, and put it in the refrigerator for as long as you'd like to marinate it. And then when you're ready, I will saute. You also saute at home, but a lot of people grill. So this is another Korean barbecue grill staple. And to give you an idea too, so we sauteed this beef bulgogi. So this is our mushrooms, exactly as this is, but sauteed in a nonstick pan. Once your bulgogi is cooked, we like to serve it in sam or lettuce wraps. You can quite simply put it over some fresh steamed white rice and it's delicious, or make like a rice bowl out of it. But we really love the freshness of using lettuce wraps. We'll seek out really nice red leaf lettuce. I know you will. Thank you, I chose it. And we will have a condiment, usually samjang, which is a fermented soybean paste with garlic in it as well. We love our garlic.
And gochujang.
Yeah, and here I have some brands as well that we can look at. I just put samjang in there, but I like to add a little gochujang to mine as well. But I guess that's a personal preference. Really, you can use whatever sauce or condiment that you like. And then we've got our beef, our mushrooms, some toppings. Our personal favorites are thinly sliced fresh garlic and chili peppers of any kind. We like serranos, but these are jalapenos. And then some fresh white rice, and then I grabbed some little garnishes as well so that we can finish our plates. I'm gonna garnish the mushroom. And got some thinly sliced scallion greens to top that off as well.
One tip is if you toast sesame before you garnish it, the aroma is really good, so that helps.
And these are Korean brand roasted sesame seeds as well. I made sure to get those. But do you want to build one with me?
Yeah. Cheers.
But yeah, delicious. Thank you so much. And here we have our Korean bulgogi, mushroom and beef bulgogi. And easily the same recipe for both. It's a beautiful way of showcasing a vegetarian and an authentic beef version of a wonderful Korean recipe.
I'm glad I could be here with you and showing how to make it. Thank you
so much.
It was my honor to be here.